Nobody was talking about menopause.
It's a conversation that needed to be cracked open. So many generations had to suffer in silence and just pretend that everything was A-okay, and that's kind of ridiculous.
You have to surround yourself by an amazing group of women.
I don't know where I would be in my life. I don't know how I would get through a day. I'm not interested in being alive on a planet without the women in my life.
What am I gonna do the day I get a divorce? Am I gonna find somebody again?
You shouldn't stay in something just because you're afraid that you're not going to find anything else.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll find yourself.
I got married
Married.
in Mexico City.
What?
Yes!
So great to see you both.
You too.
And when I saw the first 3 episodes and then last night, I mean, this is about women cheering for women, about women empowerment. 86% of my audience are women, so that's what our conversation
Yes.
needs to be about.
Yes.
So I always tell my ladies, you know, you have to surround yourself by an amazing group of women that support you in every way.
That's
Who
right.
are those for you? What does that look like? And how important is it for you?
Yeah, it's everything. I'm nothing without the strength of my community, and it started in the house, really. I have, my mother has 2 sisters. She was very young when she had me. They felt like my sisters. My grandmother was the matriarch. I'm drawn to strong, vibrant, funny women who say things that they shouldn't say. So I crave to surround myself with women like that. That's why she's my friend.
Yeah.
The feeling is entirely mutual. I just to piggyback on that, like I don't know where I would be in my life. I don't know how I would get through a day. I'm not interested in being alive on a planet without the women in my life. I really don't know how I would do it. I rely on them emotionally and psychologically and spiritually. And something Naomi has said earlier, which I really love and I think is so true, is that, you know, the friendships that I have that are very meaningful to me are the ones that do not just sort of pat me on the knee and say everything you're saying and thinking is correct. They sort of say to me, I think your thinking is a little out of adjustment, or this is maybe not totally on planet Earth. You should rethink that. You know, I am relying on their sensibilities and their knowingness of me to sometimes allow me to they can take a sort of 30,000 foot view and say, wait a second. You know, and it helps to like recalibrate things and point me back on the road that I want to be on. And sometimes you can't see things when you're looking in the mirror too much, or literally and figuratively. You know, you need someone else to be like, hey, look at the world around you and stop. Yeah, exactly.
But also people to, you know, remind you who you are when you forget, or
Exactly.
to pick you up when you fall
exactly.
down, or
Which
to
we're
push
all
you when you
capable
can.
of falling down,
Of course.
or being blind to certain
Of course.
clear signals.
So Allsphere came about when Ryan pitched you the idea. This is such a great combination of such different women, but I think that at the core, each one of you has like so many similarities in your love for other women. So how is it working with each other? I mean, who's who? I know that you're the funny one, and Nisi, obviously. So tell me about that, the chemistry between you 4.
Yeah, I think we all came with something dynamic and different, and there was a group and united respect for one another, having seen and known each other's work.
Yeah.
Kim was the surprise, having. I mean, you saw her on American Horror Story. I never did, but I was impressed by what she brought to it. You know, working in a whole new space and learning on the job and arriving with, curiosity and humility, but also tenacity and hard work. Watching her
and never breaking a sweat. And even if she had broken a sweat, that would also have been fine.
Yeah.
But it was a real remarkable thing to see her sort of literally multitasking in ways that, for me, I would have had to my hair would be on fire.
I just spoke to her about a discipline.
She
and the
has
fact
really
that she was studying acting
Yes, she
in the car.
She had her note cards.
Yeah, she was doing her flashcards, and she was talking to her kids. She's running her company and learning dialogue, and the calmest of
so calm,
anyone.
to the point where I was like, hello? I mean, hello? Because I just would have been like, oh,
She's
I just would have
impressive.
had a panic attack on a moment-to-moment basis.
Well, I have a very special connection with you
With me?
Because,
Oh, I
yeah,
know where this is going.
You don't know, but we do. Because, I mean, for the last year, talking about women, I realized that in Mexico and in general in Spanish-speaking countries in South America, nobody was talking about menopause. So last year we had our first summit, which is Martha's Menopause Movement, and there were like 45,000 women.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yay.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
And the things we've learned, and we've had, from Sharon Malone to Vonda Wright
They all came.
to Kelly Kasperson, everybody. It was online. It was amazing. And so, part of who is listening to this interview, are through that journey, and you are a key person for that in the States or in English-speaking countries.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm so glad to hear that was created
Are
that
you
much of a
menopausal?
crowd.
Oh yeah, I've got my patch on.
You got
in
your
the club.
Patches on.
I do the spray.
But by the way, even if she wasn't, it's coming for all of us.
Yeah.
So we should
If
get
we're lucky, do you
comfortable.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Like this is the thing.
Yeah, we're half the population. It's just biology, which should never have been off the table. It's a conversation that needed to be cracked open. So many generations had to suffer in silence and just pretend that everything was A-okay, and that's kind of ridiculous, And then you see women in film and TV being, depicted as these crazy characters or like these big bad bitches, and those things can be real, but there are things that are driving that story, and the perimenopausal state for a woman is kind of unbearable because
it can also last
hormones
for
up to
years
10
and
years.
years.
Yeah, and we knew nothing about it. And women were going to their doctors saying, "I don't know what's happening. Where am I? I've lost myself. Will I ever get myself back?" And and you were told to just take some antidepressants and some sleeping pills, and off you go. So it has been terrible time, and we have seen the narrative shift in the last 5 years, which is deeply heartening. And I'm so happy to have been a teeny part of that.
Yeah, I heard you say one day that somebody had told you it's like the period where you become like unfuckable.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, not possible.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, that's changed. I was told, because I got started in Hollywood rather late, or what's considered late, and I was told I better get my skates on because it'd be all over at 40. And I said, why? Why would it be all over at 40? Women, work in other industries at 40. What do you mean? And they were like, oh, well, it's when you become unfuckable. And I was like, why do you become unfuckable? Oh, I get it. Oh, because the reproductive organs are no longer in use. So that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing, a great litany of women playing sexual characters, like Nicole in Baby Girl and Pamela Anderson in Showgirls and Demi Moore in Substance. We're not done. Yeah, of course. We've got plenty of energy. We're very vital. And actually, the older you get, the more you know yourself, and therefore, the sexier you are.
Do you feel sexy, Sarah?
I do.
You were so sexy and ratchet, by the way.
Oh, thank you. That
was
uniform
fantastic.
didn't hurt.
Yeah.
The uniform helps.
Is the
Yeah.
uniform.
It's my color.
So you are a tremendous, women's advocate, and for all the women out there, what do you think we need to do better for each other? Because there's this, idea of women being your biggest competition in life.
I think for me that sort of idea, sort of more of a societal constraint. I don't feel it in my friendships. And I'm friends with a lot of actresses. I know some people were like, oh, I can't be friends with actresses because, and I just feel the complete opposite of that. I love having people in my community that understand my particular psychology or trials and tribulations of my vocation. But I don't feel that kind of competition. It just is not, I feel, and I do think that also has to do with, how I was raised. I was raised by a single woman and single mother, and I had a sister, and I just didn't feel that in my home. So I think the suggestion I would make, or the idea is to sort of buck the idea of it as, it's something we've been fed a lot in, movies and television programs as well, that women as thine enemy somehow, and it's simply not true. It's not true in my life. I don't know that it's true in anyone's life that I know. But I guess people find it delicious to watch. And I feel like there's something about this show that's sort of coming up against that a little bit, although I do play the
enemy.
the
absolute
enemy. However, that old adage, hurt people, and my character was so injured by and wounded by not being chosen by them, and her way of retaliating is vengeance. But we will learn as the show goes on what the consequences of those feelings are for Carr, and also a little bit deeper, the why.
Is there a happy ending for you?
Maybe of a certain type.
Of a certain type.
A certain type of happy ending, but
Tell me the best story on set.
I just loved being together. We spent a lot of time around that conference table, and increasingly as the series goes on. And I just thought it was sort of lovely to have to be tired at the end of a 14-hour day and look around and just see every...
It was a 14-hour long day.
Oh, minimally.
Every day.
I mean, every day.
Every day.
Every day. And everybody's, doing, it's wonderful to watch.
And you know what? One thing is a 14-hour long day, and then another thing is a 14-hour long day looking
in
the
certain
way
ways.
you
So what I was
look on
going
the show.
to say, there's a lot of professionals who are helping them have
some good
lighting. But it was amazing to sort of watch, we'd be getting our touch-ups, and people would be talking to each other about, or running lines for the scene, or emailing whatever we had to do about our lives outside of work. It was sort of a beautiful thing to sort of look around and see everybody coexisting, but also sort of simultaneously juggling their life with their work, while we were getting, made to look as glamorous as possible. And it was just a beautiful thing to sort of be tired together, all of us kind of working and trying to give our all to the show, and while managing our lives outside of it. It was, I kind of liked that.
I'm married for the second time, by the way, but a friend of mine says you have to get married the amount of times needed. So many women out there, because I was talking about this last week on the show, like, what am I going to do the day I get a divorce? And, am I going to find somebody again? And, I can't, stress enough saying there is a great relationship after the one you think is going to be the last one.
Yes,
yeah, you shouldn't stay in
absolutely.
something just because you're afraid that you're not going to find anything else, because maybe you'll find yourself, and then the other thing will come.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Mexico.
Want to go?
Love it.
Love it.
Have not been.
Been to Mexico, but haven't been to so few parts of Mexico.
I got married
there.
in Mexico City.
What?
Yes!
How?
What do you
Where?
mean?
Why?
Because I
With
love
Billy?
Mexico. With Billy. That's my only marriage.
That's your only official marriage.
Well, we
legal
got
marriage.
married at City Hall first, but then we had a ceremony, a beautiful, beautiful ceremony.
where?
We had 3 nights of celebrations. And
Revelry.
It was really fun. It was really beautiful.
We're happy that you love Mexico.
I do
Yeah,
love
we're
it,
happy
and
that
I
you
love the
Well,
people,
you have
and I
to
love
get
the
there more.
food.
Yeah.
The food.
The food.
The tequila. The mezcal.
The
Yeah,
tequila.
Amazing. Do you speak Spanish?
No.
No.
At all?
No,
I know.
neither.
Sorry, we're going to get on. Next time we see you,
Okay.
I will make a vow
Yes,
on
to
behalf
have
of
a bit-
Naomi that we're going to have some more Spanish. to be
Nisi's
able to-
Spanish was quite good, by the way.
Okay, well, Nisi's great at everything. We're
Yes.
sorry. We're sorry to disappoint you.
It's okay. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so
We're very
much.
excited
Thank you so
for
much.
episode 5.
Yeah, get ready.
Yes.
Great meeting.
Thank you,
Thank you so
too.
much.